Hello guys, today we're going to be doing maintenance on my TrueNAS server. This system has had maintenance on it approximately 2 years ago because a drive failed in it, and now a boot drive has failed. I was using two cheap USB 2.0 flash drives as the boot drive, which TrueNAS no longer recommends. So I had to replace one of the drives with just one of these quick external USB to M.2 enclosures. So I got two of those running right now. But this system needs a lot of maintenance done on it. It will eventually be replaced with a Dell PowerEdge R740xd down the road. But right now, this system needs some serious maintenance on it just to get it going for a few more years longer. So what we're going to be doing on this system is a lot of hardware related task. All the fans will be replaced. The boot drives will be replaced from the crappy external enclosures to two M.2 drives that'll be internal. The RAM's going to be upgraded from 32 gig to 64 gig, which hurts nowadays because RAM is really fucking expensive, but the RAM's going to be boosted. Thermal compounds are going to be replaced. Down the road, I'm going to also do some configuration changes. It's going to have it's going to use its second onboard NIC as a dedicated management interface, and then the main 10 gig interface is going to be for the SMB share. So this system has a lot of work that needs to be done. The system used to be upstairs in a bedroom. Now it's down here in the server rack. Sitting on top, it couldn't actually go into the rack because there wasn't enough clearance for what future expansion is going to be going into that system, into that rack. So it's just sitting on top. I do have 4 anti-vibration pads below it to help mitigate vibration. They are NAS rated hard drives, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. I was also able to find the top cover for this. I wasn't able to snap the third one in all the way, so that needs to be fixed. But this used to be wide open where stuff can get in. So anyway, enough chit-chatting. We got to shut the system down, pull it out, and start getting some work onto it. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go on to the computer and fully shut it down. Okay, we're on the computer. I'm going to go ahead and sign in the TrueNAS Core. I am still on Core, and I plan to still stay on Core. I just use this strictly as a NAS, so I don't need TrueNAS Scale or anything. I'm not running hypervisors or apps or anything like that. BSD is the best for networking, stack, and storage. I've already made sure that the system's up to date, but we're going to be doing a fresh install onto new drives anyway. I already backed up the configuration, the encryption key, stuff like that. Also kept an off-site copy of my KeyPass. We actually also have a drive that's starting to fail. We won't be addressing this in this video. The drive is still performing. It's not giving us any degradation in performance, so we're just going to keep it in there for right now, but we will... I will be keeping an eye on this and monitoring this. I do run a ZFS and a RAID Z2, so I can lose 2 drives at the same time. But yeah, another drive is starting to fail. I would like to get the serial number of this, so when we have this open, we can see what particular drive it is that's giving us trouble. So we see it's ADA0. So ADA0 is giving us some issues, and I believe that is an actual drive and not one of the boot drives. So I will be going into the disk management and, or I should say the disk page, and getting the serial number. Also, a few days ago, this system just randomly rebooted, which I've never had that happen on this system, which is seriously concerning. I've never had that happen. This system also got a new UPS installed back in July 6th of 2025. So I don't know if the UPSs are right. I mean, I don't know, but it's very concerning. The system just randomly restarted, and there was nothing in the logs to signify why it did. So it seemed more like a hardware-based issue, which is seriously concerning. So this system really needs some work on. I'll go over to here, storage, into disk. So I want to get the serial number of the drive that's starting to fail. So we got right here, 880 is the one. And I just want to get like the last 5 or whatever of the serial. Or last 6, I should say, last 5. So it's serial Y4A55. So that drive is the one that's starting to fail. And I actually haven't noticed any performance issues or anything. The drive is still healthy, but that drive is starting to show some smart errors every now and then, which is concerning. Something to keep an eye on. Another thing I've noticed is once I've brought this system, oh, there we go. It's like, what happened? We don't have temperature anymore. Another thing I've noticed is once I brought the system downstairs into the basement onto the server rack, temperatures have dropped quite significantly, especially on the drives. You can see there's a little bit, it made a little bit of a difference in the CPU temp, not a whole lot. Well, if we go to disk, just turn a couple of these on, 880, 881. Instead, I just go off disk temperature. It's not showing anything unless I really back out. But if you notice right here, when I back these two out, you can see a big temperature decrease when I actually move this downstairs. Now, it is winter, and this basement does have full HVAC, so there is like a heater, like blasting heat in here, which doesn't help it. But as you can see, we used to be hovering around 36, 37. Now we're hovering around 25, 26. So you're talking a 10 C decrease, which is good. That doesn't really explain why the system randomly shut off. Okay, so let's go ahead and power this system down. I already got everything backed up. We already got everything we need. So we'll go ahead and issue a shutdown. And now the system is going to shut down. It says system shutting down. I'll switch back over to the camera view. And now just watch the light there, and that should, here in a few seconds, turn off. You can see it's definitely talking. It's doing things. Takes a while. Is it going to shut off? It's thinking about it. And there we go. It finally shut off. System's off. I noticed the enclosures are still lighting up. So, well, one of them is. Well, yeah, both of them are. Enclosures still lighting up, so they're still getting power. That's fine. So now I'll go ahead and on the back, I'll switch off the main power switch. We'll unplug it. We'll get this thing on the desk, and we'll start doing some work. Also, I'm going to show you what upgrades we have here on the desk as well. So we got a whole laundry list of things on here. So these all just have these. Pick these off. We all know this is all for the FreeNAS. So we have an NVMe M.2 to PCI Express adapter. The motherboard that's in this system is an MSI C236A workstation board. It has one M.2 slot, so to be able to do the boot pull in a mirror configuration, you have to have a second one. So we're just going to use the PCI Express expansion bus for that. I got 2 SSDs. These will be the there we go. These will be the boot drives. It's funny. I bought these before Crucial destroyed their consumer market. These are 2 Crucial P3 500 gig M.2 SSDs. Perfectly enough. I don't know if they have a DRAM or not. DRAM cache. It doesn't really matter. These are just for boot drives. So we got 2 500 gig P3s. We got all new fans. You can probably see the models on the side, the NFA14s. We're going to swap out all the fans. This system has been running 24/7 in production since approximately 2018. So those fans, while they're still working, the bearings haven't failed yet. We're just going to go ahead and swap them out. We also got we're going to do a RAM upgrade. So we got four sticks of, what is it, 16 gig? Yeah, 4 sticks of 16 gig modules. This is ECC RAM. So we're going to have 64 gig total. So we're going from 32 gig to 64. And this is DDR4 2400. And very, very fucking expensive with the way the RAM market's going right now. But we will also be upgrading the RAM. So now that the system's off, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect everything, and we're going to get this onto the bench and start working on it. So I got to unplug the power, unplug the fiber cable in the back, USB cable for the UPS, and the 2 external USB drives on the top. Got it on the workbench. I'll go ahead and take this side panel off. We'll start working on it. Okay, so there's the inside of the unit. Got that side panel off. First thing I want to look at is I want to try to see if I can find that failing drive. So the last 4 is Y4A55. And that is right here, Y4A55. It's the second one down. Out of curiosity, I'm kind of curious which one that is. But it's got the damn connectors in the back holding it. I'm also going to go ahead and take the back panel off while I'm at it. Might get us a little bit more light in there. It's pretty dark inside that case. This unit was recently dusted out about a month ago, maybe a little bit less than a month ago. So it shouldn't be too dusty at all in it. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get that back panel off. So maybe that gives you guys a little bit more light in it. I'll go ahead and disconnect the second one. Just pull it out, see what it is. What do you guys think? Think it's an Amazon drive or a Newegg drive? When I built this system, it's got 6 disks, 3 Amazon, 3 Newegg. Okay. Whenever you put disk in a drive array, you kind of want to mix and match the time you buy them and the vendor you buy them from, so you're not getting all the same stock. So last time, about 2 years ago, I believe it was a Newegg drive that failed. So we're going to see, is it going to be Newegg or Amazon? What do you guys think? So the second drive is starting to fail. It hasn't fully failed. It's starting to show some smart errors, okay? And these were all put in around 2018. So the Y4A55 is the drive that's starting to go, and it's this one, Y4A55. And guys, oh, as you guys can see, Amazon installed September 20th, 2018. This is the drive that's starting to go. So we're not going to worry about replacing it right now. We're going to put it back in and get on with this. It hasn't failed yet, so that's the most important part. So this system has a lot of things that need to be done to it. All the fans are going to be replaced, which is just 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Last time I did maintenance on this, I removed all the excess fans. I had 3 on top and 1 on the bottom as well. Totally overkill. You don't need all that. That just brings in more dust, more noise, more power consumption. It's not necessary. The heatsink, Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo, I believe. We're definitely going to do a new thermal compound on this. It's been since 2018, so it needs to be done. Upgrade the RAM. And also new boot drives. Before we do anything hardware-wise, I do want to boot this into the BIOS, get the current BIOS version, and look around any settings I may have changed. Copy down some settings, because we also will be replacing the BIOS battery in this, and check and see if there's a BIOS update. So I do want to get the BIOS information before we do that as well. So actually, what I'm going to do on the back is I'm going to disconnect all the drives. Then we'll hook this up, power it on, go into the BIOS, and see what the BIOS looks like. So that's what the back of this pigsty looks like. As you see, I already disconnected the second drive. I'll go ahead and disconnect the other drives, and we'll boot this thing up, see what's going on. So that's what it looks like with all the drives disconnected. So next course of action is to plug in some power, hook up a keyboard, hook up video. Let's see if this thing's got HDMI out. It does. Will this have onboard video? I believe it does. No, it should. It should, because I had to install it. It's the i3-7100, I believe, CPU. Reason I put that CPU is it's plenty enough power for a NAS. It's lower power, lower TDP, but also certain i3s can support ECC RAM, So that's the reason I picked that CPU for this NAS build. And it's been able to fully saturate the 10 gig SMB share just fine. So the CPU has actually been pretty great. We're not going to do any CPU upgrades or anything like that. Like I said, I don't want to put too much money or too much upgrades in this. I mean, I kind of am with the RAM because the system's going to be replaced. It's going to be decommed in a few years for a proper server. A Dell PowerEdge R740xd is what I plan to replace this with. But that's still quite a few years out before I can do that. So I just want to get the maintenance that this thing needs done in it to keep her going. I mean, she's running right now, but I don't like running off those temporary boot drives that are kind of questionable. So anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and hook this up and boot it up. Okay, got a keyboard hooked up. That's all we need. Keyboard, video, power. I'll go ahead and switch the power on. Shouldn't do anything, and it didn't. That's good. Let's turn the system on and see if we can boot into the BIOS. So I'm turning it on now. All the drives are disconnected, so we're not doing anything with our drives. Just strictly the system now, and it should boot up. And hopefully pull us into the BIOS, which it did. As you can see, the back fans are running. You can clearly see the system's on. And guys, we are now into the BIOS. And these modern UEFI based BIOSes, you really should use a mouse. So I can hook up a mouse to this. That's no big deal. But you can see it is running. We are into the BIOS. And this is also where I can see what version of the BIOS we are running. And it looks like there's potentially a update. So definitely have to do that. Use USB to flash / save BIOS, so mFlash. Okay, so we should be able to also flash a new BIOS quite easily with just a flash drive using the BIOS. So we'll also do that here in a bit. Yeah, let me grab a mouse. And does it work? It works. So there we go. We are in the BIOS. So as you guys see, our current RAM, 32 gig, running at 2400. Our BIOS version is E799A IMS.270. MSI, come on. This is one thing I don't like with their new BIOS versions. They make it stupid. I believe how they do it is that is the actual model name of the actual motherboard, like the SKU number, and then dot, and then the version number. So the actual version is 2.7. But MSI kind of changed their naming scheme to use the board number or the board SKU dot the version number. So it's kind of weird, but I'll go ahead and write that down. We can compare what the latest is. But I remember recalling the latest having a build date of 2018. So this definitely needs a BIOS update. Okay, so I noted the BIOS version on a paper. So you guys can see we are indeed running the i3-7100. Pretty good single core performance, which is what you definitely want for an SMB share using Samba. Our temperatures look fine at idle. Still going to do some rethermal compound on it. it's past due. You can see the boot priority has pretty much everything listed here, so I didn't really clean that up when I did this back in 2018. But I'm just curious what I have here. Date and time, DMI, advanced, PCI, oops, auto. So I think this is where you can change the oh fuck. See, I hate this. It clicks too fast. Let me just use the fucking keyboard. Integrated peripherals. So you see our onboard LAN controller is enabled. I'm going to keep that on because I'm actually going to use that for a dedicated management. LAN option ROMs disabled, network stacks disabled. Oh, that's UEFI. Actually, we probably could keep that on. SATA mode, HCI. Here's the important thing for a NAS. All our SATA ports have hot plug turned on. The HD audio controller, that can be turned off. So when we update the BIOS, we'll mess with that. HPD, Intel serial. Yep. Nothing out of the ordinary. I wonder if I had UEFI based booting. Full screen logo, boot numlock info disabled. Boot mode is legacy plus UEFI. Okay. That's good to know. Do I have secure boot? I don't see secure boot info on here. That might be under something else. Maybe security. Save next. Okay, so guys, I don't really see anything of importance on here at all, really. Oh, flash mode. So we need to have a flash drive installed. Overclock settings. I don't think I did a damn thing in here. Hardware monitor. So here's our fans. And here's our current curves. So 30, 60, 45, 75, 55, 90, 65, 100. These are our current fan curves on this, which I don't even think I messed with them back then. So this one's on smart. Oh, this one's not on smart. So this one's configured to just go full bore. This one's configured smart though. So there's one fan in here that's spinning a lot faster than another. CPU 2 fan. I'd have to look on the board I'd have to look at the motherboard to see what header that is. So I'm just looking inside the system for CPU 2. I see CPU fan 1. I believe that one is going to the rear. I see system fan. Oh, CPU fan 2. Yeah, I see it. So one of these in the front is spinning faster than the other. I'm curious if I can tell just by looking at the fans. The top one. That top one's spinning faster, and that top one actually is pulling air over most of the drives. So it's got a bay of 4 at the top, and obviously that's directly in line with the heatsink, slightly in line with the graphics card. So that bottom one running slower like it is really just cooling these bottom two and pulling air for over the top of the power supply, which power supply is pulls air from the bottom anyway with a filter on the bottom. Yeah, that's interesting. I do see a red light on the Chelsea NIC. Well, maybe it's just because it don't have link. That's quite interesting. But yeah, the looks like that first top fan in the front is configured just to run at 1 speed, which isn't ideal. So we'll change that in the settings. But yeah, that's an interesting configuration. We'll circle back to that when we reset the BIOS and update the BIOS as well. We'll do factory defaults, go back in and see what MSI chooses it out of the box, because I don't know if MSI chose that out of the box. Quite interesting. I put it on the CPU 2 header, and not a sysfan header, but it could have just been the placement. Both of these are right next to each other on the board, so that may have just been convenient for me to use that header rather than another sysfan header, which the other sysfan header is all the way on the bottom. I see a sysfan 2, but it's right above the power supply, and that would have been a long run. But yeah, I'm just looking over the board with a flashlight. I see 3 ×1 PCI Express slots that are open-ended. We got the one at the top that's a ×16. Currently has the NIC in it. We'll probably keep that one in there. But yeah, I'm just looking at the board, see what it's got going on. I see our M.2 slot right under the heatsink. I mean, you probably could get in there if you get your fingers in there good enough. We still got the tiny screw for it in there, which is good. Yep, we got 2 slots out of 4 DIMM slots populated. Those are going to be popped out and upgraded. But yeah, this board's very, very... Everything in it is very basic. Just, you know, just a NAS. So, yep. So we'll go ahead and shut down the... we'll go ahead and shut the system off. You guys have already... We've already popped around this BIOS. I don't see anything that looks crazy that I configured other than this madness, whatever this is. It's set to... Usually it shows... a value that this is set to, but I'm guessing it's just full speed. But usually there's a pink one that tells you what that's set to. See how this one has it set? This one's set to 60. This one doesn't say anything. It's weird. See, these are all these ones are properly configured. Actually, yeah, it's weird. And of course, you got the old-fashioned board explorer, which will show you everything that's populated. You see our first one right there. And it's also nice because it tells you what it's running as right there, running at ×8, which is what you need. This is an old Chelsea 10 gig NIC. It's actually a PCI Express 1.1, so you have to run this at ×8. That's what the card's designed for. It has to run at ×8. But for FreeBSD, Chelsea is excellent. I like to get a modern one, like maybe like a T520 or whatever. Can't remember what's currently in it. I'll overlay the model or whatever. It's an old card, but you have to run it at ×8, and it's very, very fucking stable with FreeBSD. So excellent card for FreeBSD. As you guys see, nothing else is populated, but that will change. This will also tell you all the stuff that's using your SATA headers, which we unplugged all the drives just to I don't really want to say protect them, but in a way protect them from fucking anything up. I mean, they're not going to boot because it's those ZFS drives, but anyway, and they're encrypted ZFS drives. But anyway, I'll go ahead and power it off now, and oops. I'll go ahead and power it off now, and then we will get on with doing some of the hardware work on it. So, turned it off. The fans should be stopped spinning here momentarily, which, as you guys can see, they do. You guys can see that first one took a little bit longer to stop. Did you notice that? It's that top one that was running particularly fast, which honestly isn't too bad of configuration because that is what has the most hard drives and stuff that's pulling air through. So, it's not horrible configuration. This filter also needs to be cleaned out again. And literally this was done, like, I kid you not, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. This filter is doing its job, but you routinely have to clean it, unfortunately. So, yep, I'll go ahead and unplug the power in the back. Switch it off first. Disconnect the keyboard. Disconnect my HDMI. Let that lay there. I'm going to lay this down, and we will... first order of business is I want to take the heatsink off, and then we're going to replace the fans. So I laid it down. I put the back panel on. Just when I lay this down, I don't really like the motherboard, the back end of the motherboard being exposed and stuff. I mean, it could touch stuff, or, you know, something could touch it. Not, you know, I do have it on this nice mat, but still, whenever I lay a system down, I like to put that back panel back on. Just to be extra careful. So now I gotta get you guys a better view of inside this. I wish I had an overhead camera, but we don't have that yet. So there's a little bit of a different angle for you guys. We got the 10 gig LCO in here. Got the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo heatsink that needs to be dealt with. Got our 6 hard drives. You guys can definitely tell this is a NAS, hopefully. Very basic in here, though. Like I said, it's a pretty simplistic and clean build. Not a whole lot going on other than having a bunch of hard drives in it. So yep, first thing we'll do is take that heatsink off. It's got a little screw on the side here, and it looks like it's like on some type of hinged design. It's been a while since I messed with a Hyper 212, but it shouldn't be too hard to deal with. There we go, heatsink removed. It's this kind of silly looking hinge design. You guys can also see how well I did on my thermal compound application. I might have to get you guys a different view though. You guys see it a little bit better? Thermal compound. So it got most of the chip, but it's more like a circular design. So it didn't get the outer edges, but like I said, it worked. It ran pretty damn cool. I mean, it's not a high TDP CPU or anything. Most of the time it will probably be running idle anyway. So, yep, we'll get that cleaned up really quick, and also do the heatsink. That'll work for now. It's got these 6 copper heat pipes, and it kind of gets down in the groove, down inside that groove, so it's kind of hard to get out, maybe with a toothpick or something, but it's fine. It's fine for now. So I just got the thermal compound off the CPU and heatsink. Now we're gonna swap out these fans. So this I'll probably set the computer back up, so I can also access the cabling in the back. and then we're going to replace the fans. I took that back panel back off again. That allowed me to get access to the cables. So I got to trace. First fan I want to do is this rear one, and then we'll do the two front. So I got to trace where this first fan is wired to. I have a suspicion it's probably going to be the CPU fan 1 header, which is right there. Looking in the back, it looks like I used an extension cable, so I can just unplug it from the extension. But yeah, it looked like it was too short to reach the CPU fan header. So I'm guessing the CPU fan 1 header was probably designed for the obviously designed for the heatsink fan. So it's a little out of reach of the rear exhaust case fan. So I did zip tie it to the CPU power cable. So I gotta get my micro cutters in there and cut that zip tie. But yeah, it was hooked up to a extension in the back. So I just disconnected from the extension. So should be very simple and straightforward to replace this rear exhaust fan. I was able to free the cable. Now I'm just removing the cables, or the screws. Keep the screws on deck, and also note the polarity of how you had the fan, where the cable's going to land when we replace it. So, yep. So, what was in it was an NF-A14 PWM. This one doesn't say where this one was made. If it's a Taiwan or what it is. Fortunately. So, one fan's been removed, like I said, just for good measure. It's being done. So I'm going to get the new fan out and put it in. I'm not going to use any of the new fan goodies, but I like to keep them. I probably got like 100 fucking Y splitters and extensions and low noise adapters and rubber grommets and stuff, but you know, it's nice to have it. Now, is it just me, or are the new Noctua fans a lot darker? I mean, the brown has gotten a lot darker. And now you can't say, oh, well, maybe the old fan's faded. No, it's a lot darker. It's like a shit brown now instead of a nice creamy, like peanut butter Nutella brown. The new brown just, like I said, probably from the vendor. You know, probably made in a different country and stuff. But come on, guys. Okay, new fan's been installed. Note the polarity. If you're unsure, the side that has the sticker is the side the air is going to blow. Okay? And you want to note what orientation you put it for the direction the cable is going to stick out. So I put it in the right polarity. So I'm just going to stick this cable out through the top grommet and then connect it back up to that extension, and then we should be good to go with this rear exhaust. time to move on to the front fans, which might be a little harder because you got all these drive bays in the way, but they're probably going out to the side to extensions anyway, so shouldn't be too hard. So I'm going to trace the wires for these two fans, see where they're going to, probably extension cables as well. Disconnect them and then unscrew them, put the new ones in. This is going to be fun. Wasn't hard to locate. It's going right there to an extension cable. Both of them are right here. Coming in from this front chute. Got them both. You can't miss them. So, oh, and I used one of them crappy twist ties, which you never should use that in a case. So, yep, they're right here. To know which is which, however, I should probably just disconnect one at a time. It really doesn't matter because I can always come back here, boot in the BIOS, and swap them if it's one's connected to this, you know, the CPU fan 2 header and the other isn't or whatever. But it really doesn't matter. It's no big deal. But yep, we'll go ahead and get these disconnected and we'll just remove these front fans. That's me, but anyway. There's the top one. This is the hardest part, is getting these to line up with the screw holes there on the case. It's very hard to see that. So that's what I'm currently struggling with, is trying to get it to position right. So just so you're aware. And you guys can probably see the color difference now. There it goes. There we go. Now I got it. Of course, this bottom rubber is kind of fucked up, but I can probably fix that once I get this bottom fan off. So I go ahead and hook this up to where it was hooked up to, and we'll get the second one off. Oh, new fans installed. Awesome stuff, guys. Awesome stuff. So we got the 2 front fans done and the rear exhaust. So fans are done. Excellent. Now, what shall we do next? We can do the RAM. That's pretty freaking simple. Got a bunch of RAM here. We can pop the new RAM in. New boot drives. Gotta do that. BIOS battery. Gotta get to that as well. It's not being covered by anything, so that's good. New thermal compound on the heatsink, or on the CPU. And we should be good to go. Oh, also a BIOS update. Gotta do a BIOS update. Forgot about that. So we're gonna do the RAM. And to do that, I want to lay the system down again. Actually, I don't really need to lay the system down. I just need to move a camera angle over so you guys can see it. So it's probably very hard to see in there, guys, but we got 2 DIMM slots populated. We're going to upgrade this with 64 gig of RAM. Still ECC, going from ECC to ECC, so we'll get on with that. So kind of hard to see. Kind of hard to do when it's standing up. Not completely hard, but you got to hold the back of the case, and I only have one hand available, so you had to start from the top and bottom and click them in and make sure it's fully flush. But yep, we got them in there. Hold on to the DIMM slot or the module. You're popping it out, it'll literally, you get both levers, it'll literally fly right out. So, but yeah, this stuff is pretty much gold now. So it wasn't cheap upgrading from 32 to 64 gig. Now, if I would have done this last year, I should say early last year, or the year before, it wouldn't have been as expensive. But it was like $400 some to go to 64 gig ECC DDR4 2400 RAM. So the RAM I got in here, the RAM I had previously, two 16 gig modules of DDR4 2400 Crucial branded too. You can't get that anymore. This is probably $250 right here. So yep, could sell it, but I like to hold on to RAM. It's good to have. So RAM's installed. Next order of business, we can probably do the SSDs. This I might have to lay it down, guys, because I'm going to be dealing with the M.2 slot in this tiny screw. So we'll definitely have to lay it down. I'll have to put that back panel back on. Before that, I also want to do that BIOS battery too while we're at it. So I'm going to swap out that BIOS battery really quick. Just very simple. Gotta get a flathead screwdriver and my whole array of CMOS batteries. We'll open up the little carriage here. As you guys can see, we got some batteries in stock. Get a small little flathead. I have a little tiny Craftsman that I use for this task that I like to do. So, small little screwdriver. We'll get in there and get that popped out. So, new battery installed. There's the old KTS one. That definitely came with the motherboard. Japan. New batteries installed. Now that just wiped out the BIOS settings, which we're fine with. Nothing crazy in the BIOS settings that we had. We're also going to be updating the BIOS later too once we get all the hardware stuff done. So next order of business will be going to the M.2 drives. So first order of business is we're going to populate the M.2 slot that is on this motherboard, which it supports PCI Express, NVMe. It's already got the screw on there. I could pull up the manual on this board out of curiosity. Storage. One M.2 slot supports PCIe 3.0 times 4. It does not support SATA. It does have a NVMe Mini SAS SSD with Turbo U.2 host card. Oh. There is that. So let's see if we have any weirdness with PCIe lanes, if it turns off any SATA ports or anything like that. Doesn't say any information about it turning off any lanes. I did look up how many lanes the i3 7100 has. It has 16 lanes. So there's that. I don't see it saying anything about it turning off any lanes. It just says how to install it. What about the SATA ports? Doesn't say anything about any SATA ports getting turned off. So we shouldn't have to worry about that. Interesting. I am also curious about the PCI Express slots. Let me go ahead and look at that. It says nothing about lanes, so we ain't got to worry about. We don't have to worry about allocation of PCI Express lanes. That's good to know. So now we're going to go ahead and get that off. That's going to be a really tiny screw, probably a Phillips 0. Very tiny screw, so I'm going to go ahead and magnetize my bit on this as well. So M.2 is installed. Very self-explanatory, guys. Like I said, it won't support SATA-based ones. It only supports NVMe. PCI Express 3.0 times 4 slots, what it is. And Crucial did give us a tiny M.2 screw if we need it, which is nice of them. But unfortunately, Crucial is no longer around in the consumer space. So there's a little pamphlet there. You'll never see that again. So next we have to install our PCI Express to M.2 adapter. This is from Sabrent. So it's NVMe M.2 SSD to PCI Express times 16 times 8 times 4 card with aluminum heatsink. Oh, you gotta have that. Probably don't even need to use the heatsink. It's probably not even necessary. It's not compatible with SATA. It doesn't have the right control on there for that. It's just a simple PCI Express adapter. That's really all it is. Logical interface of times 4. Compatible sizes is 2230, 2242, 2260, and the popular 2280. It will not fit in the PCIe times 1 slot. Good to know. It actually will, because these are open-ended slots, but it will run at times 1. But it doesn't really matter. We'll put it in the right slot that it wants to go in. So this NIC, this old shell CO card, it has to run at times 8. So we're going to keep it where it's at. It works excellent in the slot that's in, which is PCI underscore E2. Okay, and it's they do name each one of these expansion slots. This has a lot of expansion slots on it, which is great. It's a workstation-based motherboard, so you expect to see it. We're going to go ahead and look at the manual and see how the configuration is on this board. So as you guys can see, these are all the PCI Express expansion slots on this. We don't have to worry about lane allocation. It appears that they designed this board and everything to where everything should be able to get the amount of bandwidth that it needs. So you shouldn't be disabling any SATA ports or downlinking any links. Everything should be able to run okay, because normally they'll have a stipulation here saying, hey, if you only have 20 lanes, this stuff turns off. Or if you populate this M.2 slot, you know, this PCI expansion bus gets turned off. You know what I'm saying? There's different stipulations, but I don't see any of that on this manual, so we should be okay. So here's all the slots that you have. You can see the M.2 drive right there. So it shows a GPU, but it doesn't really matter. We're not using a GPU. We're using a NIC. So our NIC goes in PCI underscore E2, which it's in. Now, if you populate this second slot here, they both will run at ×8. Well, we don't need ×8 for an SSD. We only need ×4. So if you guys look right here, we should be using this one right here, this third one, which is PCIe 3.0 ×4 slot. So we should use PCI_E6, and that probably does go through the chipset, but that's fine. It's just a boot SSD for TrueNAS. No big deal. Now, if it was your main boot SD for Windows or whatever, this was a regular desktop computer, yeah, you probably would want to definitely put in one that goes directly to the CPU. But we'll check the block diagram if this one has it. We'll see how it's wired. But based on this right here, I don't want to chew up this second one, that second ×8, because down the road, not in this particular case, because this is going to be decommed in a couple years anyway, but down the road, if you wanted to expand, say add another NIC in there, or you wanted to add another SATA controller or a SAS controller or something like that, like an HBA, you're going to want to have the ×8 bandwidth. So we don't want to throw away that slot when we only need ×4 anyway. So it makes sense to use this slot here. We will check the block diagram about it, see if they got one. MSI is pretty good at doing that, so we'll see. We'll see if they included one. And I don't think they did. Darn. No block diagram, so I'm not sure. Yeah, this goes through the chipset. M.2 goes through the chipset. So we're going to put it into slot 6, like I said, which is actually the one all the way on the bottom. Before we put it in, I probably want to put the M.2 onto the adapter card first, and then pop the adapter card into the slot. Comes in this nice package, and it also has a nice little screwdriver they include. So the back of it, it's got four little screws. You unscrew, take that heatsink off, and we'll probably keep the heatsink off anyway. It doesn't need to have the heatsink on this. It looks like the screws for the heatsink are also Phillips 0. Looks like it's got little LEDs on the board too, probably to indicate drive activity. It's kind of cool. So I took the heatsink off it. It doesn't really need to have the heatsink on it, guys, for this type of SSD. It's just not even necessary. Manufacture date of 23rd week of 2024. Kind of curious, what screw do I use for the standoff? I'll have to check this. So it's got a screw, but the screw is on the back of it. Maybe it gets flipped around? No, they're showing you screw it in from the bottom. Quite interesting design. I'm guessing you unscrew this standoff, slide it on over the card, then screw it on from the bottom. I'm guessing that's how that works. Kind of weird. They should have just depicted that, but they didn't. There we go. It's installed onto it. I'm not going to put a heatsink on. I do not really care or give a flying crap. Might be nice to note the serial number of this card. That would have been nice. I don't know if the other side had the serial number. It should. I'm going to pop this back off and get the serial number and then document the serial number of the drive that is in the enclosure. So the back does have the serial number. P3 M.2 2280. That's the size of it. That's a Gen 3 x 4 drive. Excellent. That's what we want. Part number CT500P3 SSD 8. Doesn't say where it was made. Oh, there it is. Product of Malaysia. 500 gig. 3.3 volt, 2.5 amp. So serial number ends in 50173. I'll go ahead and write that down for my future information. So if a drive fails, I'll know if it's the one in the expansion slot or the one in the motherboard. And I don't need to remove a back expansion cover because this is just an internal adapter. That's all it is, guys. It's just taking 4 wire lanes off this bottom PCI expansion bus and just giving it to an M.2 drive. It's just changing the form factor. That's all it is, guys. It's a very simple adapter. Wow, that's very wobbly. There you go. Because it doesn't get support from the back bus, it's a little wobbly, but it went right in, guys. So there we go. That's all there really is to that. Our NIC, we're going to leave that alone. I ain't going to bother with thermal compound on that. It's fine. It's a very old card. But it performs excellently on FreeBSD, so there's really no issue. So we got both the SSDs installed. We could change out the BIOS battery. Fans have been replaced. The only remaining hardware thing would be putting new thermal compound on the CPU, putting that heatsink back on, and then we update the BIOS, tune our BIOS settings, and then we boot this thing in at memtest 86 and test out that new 64 gig of RAM. I believe that would be the next course of action. So there's the CPU. It's an i3-7100. Pretty tiny CPU. We got our new 64 gig of RAM. I'll go ahead and clean off that surface again. I'll get my thermal paste ready. I use Arctic MX4. Get a new wipeout. We'll get this heatsink back installed. So it looks like this heatsink has a little oh, you guys can't see it. It's too far zoomed in. It's got a little lever that goes down under this little tab, and it screws onto the other side. It's kind of a weird design, but I've dealt with various heat sinks, so I think I can figure it out. expediting the evaporation process just by blowing some canned air on it. Let that dry. I also went over the heatsink again. I've never had issues thermally with this CPU. It's a very low TDP, pretty low TDP CPU. I mean, it's an i3. Runs an NAS. It's probably not running at full clock the entire time either. Mostly says idle, so no problems there. Where was this one made? Doesn't say on it, guys. Normally it says it. Normally it says. That's a 7th gen. Plenty powerful to saturate 10 gig. A couple drops at the top that just refused to die off, but I think I finally got them. I think I just put a little bit too much on there. I'll just use this little screwdriver they gave me to get some of that excess off. You get that fucking hook on there. It's official. I hate this cooler, guys. It's very hard to get that hook on that one side, get it started. I don't know how I did it back then, but yeah, I hate this cooler. There we go. Got it. I don't like it, but yep, it's secure on the other side. It would pop up if it wasn't. Yeah, not the greatest. I don't fucking like it one fucking bit. If I'm being honest with you. Yeah. It's a POS. Actually, looking where this heatsink lands, I might want to bring this fan down more. It just slides, so I could probably do that. That's no big deal. Loosen up a little bit and slide it all the way down. But heatsink's on. We'll see how the thermals are. If they're around that 30C range, then we know it's making contact. It should be all right. So yeah, I think all the physical hardware stuff has been done, to my knowledge. Just leaves us with BIOS, testing the RAM, connect the drives back up, and then, well, install TrueNAS first, and then connect the drives back up, import my configuration, and hopefully she's back in production then, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna move this back case fan down a little bit. A little bit better. Our case fan has been dropped down some. I should draw more heat out of that heatsink. Yeah. I say we stand her back up, connect her up, and then see what happens. See if it blows up. Hopefully not. I still have all the drives disconnected, by the way. I can't get that third fucking top panel come back on, and a piece of it broke. Oh, that annoys the hell out of me. Might just have to be something I have to fucking glue or tape on. Fucking ridiculous. Damn it! Yeah, that panel's fucking busted. It's fucking junk. And I don't think I have... Well, I got a little bit of black tape. It's probably just going to have to happen. It's probably going to have to be black electrical tape and look fucking shitty, but it's the only way it's going to hold that panel on, keep shit out of it. So, it is what it is. Oh fuck, that sucks. Ran out of black electrical tape, guys. Man, this D5300's seen better days. I picked it up used on eBay, and it does have some issues with it. It is being replaced, though. I did actually get a new camera, guys, and not to get sidetracked or diverge onto a different subject, but we will be doing a major upgrade for our camera and our production. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's on the desk. Take any guesses what I have. Got a lot of stuff. I don't have a lens yet, so I can't use it yet. But I got myself a Nikon ZR, which is going to be a major upgrade to what I'm running now. Major upgrade. Camera I'm running now is actually not my main camera. It was one I picked up just for down here in the shop. My main camera is a Nikon D3400, which I use for photography, but this camera is a Nikon D5300 I picked up used on eBay. So I'm the second owner, or however many owners, whereas the D3400 is one I actually bought brand new. Let me tell you, don't buy used cameras. There are some issues with this D5300 that I didn't notice before. I also bought a used lens, and yeah, it didn't actually work, so it's great. But this camera actually has a dead pixel. I shouldn't have said anything because probably nobody would have never noticed. I'm not going to point it out, but I believe it's got 2 dead pixels because sometimes I see a second one pop in every now and then. Well, not really dead, more stuck. More stuck. It's got 2 stuck pixels, which not a major deal, but still, you know, it's annoying. But it's a used camera. Picked it up used, so seller should have disclosed it. But you know how that goes. The chassis is broken. The bottom of the battery compartment's busted. It can hold a battery, but part of the chassis is like busted, like the camera's been dropped or something. I don't know. It works. It functions, you know. I mean, I'm getting mileage out of it. But it's an old camera. It's APS-C, so it's not the best. But it works for now. But like I said, there is a major upgrade coming down the pike. Just not there yet. We're not ready for it yet. I got to get a lens. The lens is about $3,000. I'm probably going to trial a few different lenses before I buy one. So, but yeah, we've been running off a D5300 for the past few videos now. All videos you've seen with the new table setup, that's all been mostly on D5300, which is a really old APS-C based camera. And I usually spit it out to a capture card. So yeah, just in case you guys were curious. But the ZR is a major upgrade on lots of aspects. It's actually designed for video. It's got red raw. It can go up to 6K. It's a full frame sensor. You can control the aperture while you're in live view. Well, you only have live view. It's a video, it's for video. This you can't change aperture, and I'm using a kit lens. Now, if I use better glass on this, I probably get a lot better results. But now I'm going to their Z mount. I'm going to their mirrorless. So these old APS-C cameras, I might use them as secondary cameras or just photography only. Probably what I'm going to do with them. But yeah, I will be buying a lot of nice glass though, but it's going to be all Z mount. And the D5300 is F mount. So anyway, I digress. But the camera died. I didn't notice it when I was talking. I wasn't paying attention to the preview window. Battery died. And I had a hard time getting the battery out. That's why I kind of divulged onto this subject about cameras. The battery's stuck, so I had to get needle nose pliers and pull it out. Luckily, the locking mechanism that holds the battery in still works. So I was being careful not to break that because everything else is pretty much broken on it. Yeah, I struggled to get the battery out, but I got it out, swapped it out. I could put it on a power adapter, but I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it for this run. I have like 6 of these batteries for it, so I just swap them out, and they last about a good hour and a half, 2 hours. So, I get a good run out of them. Okay, so now I'm gonna hook this thing up. We'll hook it up and we'll boot it. We'll go into the BIOS, see it post, and then I need to get a flash drive ready, guys. I gotta get a flash drive ready so we can boot this thing. See if I got plenty of them up here. See if I can find an old one. 120 gig, we don't need that. Which one do I want to throw away? A 16 gig? I can throw away a 16 gig one. 16, another 16. These are all 3.0 drives. Not that it matters. Shouldn't matter. Yeah, I got a bunch of flash drives. We'll just use this. Put the image on it. Might have to be FAT32. Then we can update the BIOS. But first we'll hook it up. We'll boot in the BIOS. See if it posts. See if the fans are working. Then we'll update the BIOS. I'm kind of curious of the fan curves too. Okay, go ahead and switch that power switch back to on. Hopefully nothing blows up, which it didn't. Now we're gonna boot the system, and we'll see what happens. Kind of a bad view. You guys might see that back fan spin. These fans are so much darker now, though. So press on, it boots on. I see a debug LED light turning on for DRAM, but it's probably just training still. Hopefully. Both front fans are spinning and the rear fan is spinning. We got no video output yet. The system just turned off and turned back on. That's normal, and there we go. We have an output, which is completely normal, guys. And now the fans, these fans just kicked up, guys. Like, loud. Those fans just kicked on. Oh, we see our Chelsea. Oh. Yeah, these fans are loud. Front one seems a little bit, maybe a hair slower than these. The back one seems a little bit slower than these back ones, or these front ones, I should say. These front ones are spinning up loud. Okay, so it's trying to do a network boot off of the Chelsea NIC. We don't care about that. So it booted, it posted. That's a good sign. I'll go ahead and turn it off. We'll turn it back on and then go into the BIOS and see what happens. A little concerning that that debug LED light lights up. I don't know if that's just normal until the system's fully posted. But it was lit up for DRAM. But like I said, it's probably still training. Turn it back on again. We'll try to go into the BIOS this time, guys. Boom, boom, boom. Taking a minute. And the more RAM you got, a little bit longer it takes to post. Okay, so the LED did turn off. Oh, the system just rebooted. It's going to put us in the BIOS. There we go. We are in. And the front fans have spun down now. And I can physically see them moving slower. The back fan's moving slower too. So there's that. So we are now into the BIOS. Everything's been refreshed. As you guys can now see, our RAM now shows the full 64 gig. Now, did that number just update, or am I just, my eyesight just fucking? Did you guys see that number flip? Oh, maybe it was the voltage that tripped me. It looked like at a glance like the memory size changed number, but maybe my eyes are fucking with me. This is normal for that to move around a little bit. That's all right. It's not ideal, but our CPU temp looks like it's the heatsink's making contact with it. It's running in spec. Yep. So everything looks good and kosher there. I'm going to go ahead and turn the system off. So it's fully off now. None of those hard drives are hooked up, by the way, guys. So we're not fucking around with those yet. I'm going to go onto the computer now, and we are going to look at the BIOS. We want to do an M-Flash, so I want to look at what we have to set up for the flash drive, probably FAT32. So here's the BIOS. Just want to read this. BIOS update. This is what they had. So there's a microcode update. This was dated 2018, June of 2018. Doesn't tell us how to use it though. Though that's great. So maybe we'll have to consult the manual again. Probably M-Flash right here. So right here. It just says save it to the flash drive. Doesn't tell me any specifics. So I'm guessing it will have to be FAT32. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this flash drive in and see if we can put the BIOS on it. Flash drive, wonder what's on it. Hopefully nothing bad. Oh, just this. What is it configured as? FAT32. Oh, ignore that beep, and that was just my barcode scanner I unplugged. FAT32. So we already got a drive. It works. It's configured as FAT32. So we'll go ahead and copy this file just the way it is. Paste it. There we go. So we got a 16 megabyte bin file. This is just the BIOS. And we will go ahead and eject that flash drive now. And I'll pop it into a port on the front. I'll do 2.0 just for safety reasons. And we'll boot back in the BIOS. We'll update the BIOS. Then we'll boot back in the BIOS. We'll do a factory reset. And then we'll do some configurations. And then we'll boot into Ventoy and do a memtest 86 on the RAM. Plug the flash drive in. Let's see if we can get this thing to boot now. So, just turn it on. Let's see if it's going to fluctuate now. Or it's just going to throw us right into the BIOS. There we go. Throw us into the BIOS. Maybe. I think it's confused. Front fans are spinning slow now. But they are spinning. It's not doing anything though. On the system itself, it looks like the VGA. Got a red LED. It looks like it may be on VGA though. Which that's your graphics. But we got graphics because we're getting an output. Okay. Interesting. We'll turn it off again. Turn it back on. I'm going to wait until I see something like an MSI splash screen or something. Give us something. So it changed. Pro Series. There we go. I hit delete. It's going to throw us into the BIOS. Come on, Bessie. It's booting way too fast. That's the problem. Throw us into the BIOS. It's not going to throw us into BIOS. All LEDs on the board have turned off now. We'll turn it off again. I don't know, guys. It looked like it said delete key for entering the BIOS, which I did. Come on. Boot, damn it. There we go. Fuck. It just wanted to be finicky with us. That's what it wanted to be. It just wanted to be finicky. So now we'll go down to the M-Flash. Say yes. Now it should boot us into M-Flash. Hopefully. We'll see. Coca-Cola. Entering flash mode. There we go, guys. Looking good. That's what we want to see. You see right there, it sees our flash drive. It sees the 16 megabyte file. And if you look, guys, if we hover over it, it shows the current BIOS and the selected BIOS. So current version is 2.7, right? 2.70, and the new one is 2.80. And then what we're also concerned about is the build date. The current BIOS build date is December 28th of 2016. The new one is June 15th of 2018. Or I said, previous one was 2016. Sorry, I think I said 18 two times. So this is definitely newer. We're going to click on it. Are you sure to select this file? We're going to hit yes. And there we go, guys. Now it's going to update the BIOS. This is very important that you don't touch anything. Don't unplug it. And hopefully you don't have any power outages. This is when you should have it on a UPS. And technically this is on a UPS. Because this power strip's on a UPS. So technically we're good. So now it's going to update the BIOS. There she goes. And I just plugged this into a 2.0 port on the front. Stuff like this is better to just do it in 2.0 for reliability reasons and compatibility. Plus, it's a small file. It doesn't really need to be, you know, anything crazy. BIOS is updating. So we'll let that do its thing. And the fans in the front have calmed down. So that's good behavior. Usually when the motherboard is angry, when it's angry, it doesn't like something, that's kind of how they respond, is they just put all the fans full throttle. So that's I'm not saying that's a main indicator, but it's an indicator that something may be amiss. So right now the fans are running normally. Okay, so it's shut down. It boots back up right now. So just turn back on. We'll see what it does if it throws us straight in the BIOS or if it tries to do a PXE boot, a network boot, off the Chelsea again. Normally when you do a BIOS update, usually it'll throw you back into the BIOS. Well, we'll see what it does. Bum-ba-bum, bum-ba-bum. It's doing stuff. There we go. Pro Series. So F11 is the boot menu button. Bum-ba-bum, bum-ba-bum. What's it doing? What's it doing? Kind of is behaving a little weird, but we're also going into a capture card. Granted, one that's more friendly to random resolutions being thrown at it. There we go. Just reboot again. Now it's still in the PXE boot. Okay. Yep. So BIOS should be updated. I'm going to go ahead and press the power off button. And you always want to wait. When you do a BIOS update, let it run its cycle. Yeah, it may restart a couple times. That is normal. That is normal. And don't unplug the flash drive. Keep it in there, okay? But now when you saw it went to a PXE boot, we know it done its cycle. It's ran its course. We physically turned the system off by pressing the power button. I'll take that flash drive out now. And now I can boot it and go into the BIOS, okay? And we can verify the new version as well. So press the power on button. And we'll see that the system still posts after the BIOS update, which it should, because it ran its course. So you see, there we go. Hit the delete button a couple times. And it should throw us into the BIOS, which it did. So, boop, we're all good. As you guys see right here, the build date, the BIOS has now been updated. Okay? Perfect. So now we can actually go in here and change some things. But before that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to do a factory reset of this board. So there should be in here, restore defaults. Yes, load optimize defaults. And that should put everything back to defaults. Okay. And we'll do a save changes and reboot. So it says you've not made any changes to any BIOS settings. Okay. So that's telling us everything should be default already. Cool. We'll go back to settings. We'll go to system status. The date and time. This has to be set to the right time. Now, looky there, guys. It already has the correct time and date. I've had this happen a couple times on some other boards to where I swap out the BIOS battery very shortly and the system clock is still correct. The date and time is still correct. The other board it happened on was also MSI. But that's not always the case, guys. When you swap out a BIOS battery, 9 times out of 10, it will reset the date and time. So you have to go in there and key that in, okay? But it looks like it kept it, guys, which is pretty awesome. How accurate is it? Yep. It's off by like 2 seconds. It's fine. So that's telling me there must be a cap or something in there that'll temporarily hold it over if you're just swapping a battery. Nice, because the system wasn't plugged in. Nice. Ain't got to worry about the date and time. That's already set. Now we go to advanced. We're going to go through all these settings. cryptocurrency mining. Yeah, I ain't worried about that. This stuff was on auto. CPI, blinking. Integrated peripherals. I will keep this stuff on. This is mostly for PXE booting stuff. We ain't concerned about that. I will keep the onboard LAN controller enabled on this. Nice. By default, we're on HCI mode. That's what I want to see. M.2 Genie. I'm not sure what M.2 Genie is. Hot plug. I want this on for all these ports. So we'll turn this on for all these. This is a NAS, so we want to have these on. Not that we really have the enclosure to hot plug anyway, but it's a NAS. I'm kind of curious what M.2 Genie means. HD auto controller, we don't need that. So I'm just going to key through. So I'm going to look at the manual really quick because I'm kind of curious what M.2 Genie is, or I can just look it up. MSI's M.2 Genie is a simplified BIOS feature primary for Intel platforms that streamlines setting up M.2 SSD for RAID configurations or using it with Intel Optane memory cache. Okay. You generally leave it disabled. Cool. Yep, we don't need that enabled. So all this stuff looks correct. We'll go back out of that. Integrated graphics. So this might be part of the issue with our graphics not showing up right away. It's set to the PCI Express graphics instead of IG integrated graphics driver. So we'll select it to that. This don't have a GPU, discrete GPU in it. I was gonna say it don't have a GPU. It has a GPU. It's built into the CPU. It's integrated. Thunderbolt. Oh, I'm not really too concerned about that on this system though. Keep all that to default. We're not really using USB anymore anyway. Well, we got a serial port on this, probably header. Keep that stuff enabled. Oops, went back in the same thing. Windows OS, not concerned about Windows OS. Fast boot, don't care about fast boot. Oops. Wake on LAN, not concerned about Wake on LAN. It is a NAS though. You got your Intel NIC. Link speed, auto negotiation, blink LEDs. Wonder if I click that will it blink it? Currently disabled. Boot. We want to set this to UEFI, guys. And I want to go into all these and clean these out. I only want to have 2 of these. Oops. So first one, I want UEFI hard disk, right? Next one, I want UEFI USB key. Okay, that's what I want. And we're forcing UEFI boot. Back out of that, security. Got administrator passwords, chassis, don't care about that. TPM, don't care about that. This ain't Windows. Save, so we can do save, changes, and reboot. Go ahead and click on that. And these are the changes that we made. We'll hit yes. And now it should reboot. And it should throw us into a screen that says unable to find a boot drive. It should say something along the lines of that. It shouldn't be showing us any PXE stuff. It might still show that Chelsea NIC, but it shouldn't be doing any PCE stuff. Or NIC stuff, I mean. So it threw us back in the BIOS. Which sometimes it does that. But we can tell that our settings did change because look at the boot priority up here. So that's good. So now I'll just go ahead and press the power button to turn it off. So I'm going to hook up the Ventoy drive. It's right here. Make sure I grab the right one because I have other enclosures on here. But those are SSK ones. And this one is a Sabrent. So I'll go ahead and plug this in to a 3.0 drive port. Although it doesn't really matter. I'll do 2.0. Fuck it. We're just doing a mem test right now. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll turn it on. And we'll see if this boots us into our Ventoy drive. And then we should be able to do a mem test on this bad boy. And that will run overnight, guys, because that's just how it is. We're texting 64 gig of RAM. It's going to take all night. So we got a graphics output. That's good. And it threw us back into the BIOS, guys. So that's not a great sign. Turn it off again. It's acting a little quirky. I'll plug it into a 3.0 port now. See if that makes any difference. If not, I might have to choose USB hard drive or, you know, they have different names. I wish they'd just say USB UEFI. But they make so many different, you know, distinctions. And no, it doesn't throw us. Okay, so it's not booting our Ventoy drive. That's concerning, guys. So we're going to go into settings. Not advanced. We're going to go into boot. So we got UEFI hard disk, UEFI USB key. I'm going to try UEFI. Okay, so it shows up as a UEFI USB hard disk. That's what it shows up as. So that's what it's labeled. Like I said, sometimes it's weird like that. It has different distinguishations because you guys can see like USB CD drive, USB key, USB floppy, USB hard. You know, it's kind of dumb, but it is what it is. Then we'll go back out, save changes and reboot. Yes. Now hopefully it boots into our Ventoy drive, guys. It is kind of interesting that it threw us straight into a BIOS, though. Usually it's supposed to show no S found, you know what I'm saying? So, there we go. It threw us into Ventoy. And the most important thing you guys want to always check is the bottom. It did boot us in via UEFI. I like that about Ventoy, that Ventoy tells you how it booted. I love that about Ventoy. So we're going to go down to MemTest 86. MemTest 86 Pro. And we're going to boot it. And we're going to test the RAM in this bad boy. I cannot wait. This is fun. All 64 gig of ECC RAM. So there you guys can see it shows our i3 7100. Shows all our cores. Shows we do have 64 gig of RAM, DDR4 ECC. So you can click View Detailed SPD Information. There's our 4 modules. I'm going to go ahead and save this info to a file. The RAM info was saved. Okay. Is there a next page? Probably not. Probably just the same modules. Okay, we'll hit go back. View memory usage. ECC pooling. That's enabled. We got ECC injection. Now, I'm not sure if this chipset will support us doing that. Wonder if it will. Ooh, enabled. That's interesting. We'll see if that works. We'll save a system information summary. Cool. There's no more pages. Nothing more there. We got test selection, address range, CPU selection, start test, RAM benchmarks, and you got settings. We'll go ahead and go to RAM benchmarks. I always like to run these just to see how things are running. There we go. Save chart. Go back. We're going to change this to right now. Run it again. Bum bum. Save chart. Save, 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 save. Change this back to read. Run it again. Save. Save. Go back. Change this to write. Run again. Looking good. Yep. So we've done all that. That's looking good. We're going to go ahead and press S for start test, and now it's going to actually start testing the RAM. And as you guys see, we are off to the races. Now, CPU temp on this is hardly ever accurate. Just FYI. It says 45C, which isn't horrible, but it's within spec, and it's probably not reporting correctly anyway. Let's see here. Does it show it doesn't show our RAM temperature. Shows the RAM running around 23 gigabytes a second. That's correct. That should be about right. Oh, right here. ECC inject. Injecting ECC air. Warning, ECC injection may be disabled for Intel Kaby Lake. Okay. 0 errors so far, though. So I don't think it can inject an ECC air. That's kind of cool, though. Not on this chipset, though. But you find the right chipset that can do it. You could test this RAM, you know. Good way to test ECC RAM out. See if it's actually doing its work. I was trying to see if it shows the latency. It shows run at 2400. That's right. It's not showing the latency. Yeah, it's going to keep bitching about ECC RAM. So I'm going to do escape. I'm going to do an in test. Yeah. We're going to do continue. In for no. I'm going to go back to the info page. Oh, we're on it. We're going to turn ECC injection off. Okay, so I just turned that off because obviously I don't think it works. It said it probably doesn't work on Kaby Lake. So now we're going to press S, run the test again. So there we go. Now it's running again, guys. It cannot read the RAM temp though. But that's fine. So this is gonna run 4 passes. It's literally probably gonna take all night to run, guys. So this is where I call it a night, and see you guys in the morning. That's usually what happens. But yeah, this will run. This will run through the night. And hopefully there's no errors. I don't think there will be. It does see all 64 gig of RAM though. And she's running. She is running. Excellent. So yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up until tomorrow. Okay, guys, we are back. Day 2, nice and early in the morning. Well, kind of early in the morning. And as you guys can see, we now have a result from the system. As you can see right there, it says pass, test completed. Press any key to display the summary. Okay. Turn off the camera. So I'm just going to hit enter. We'll see if this thing comes back alive, and it did come back alive. You can see it shows each of our DIMM modules, all 4 of them. We got pass, 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 0 errors. It shows the size, the serial number of each, and also the part number. And here's also, if you ever buy used RAM, you can make sure that every single module is the exact same module, and also manufacture date. So if we look at the part number on each one of them, we got AZ2G3B1, AZ2GB3B1, AZ2GB3B1. So they all look to be the same module. They're all the same size. I'm going to try to save these results. Now, usually when this sits a while, the SSD turns off. So, but it was saved. The DIMM test results was saved to disk. See, show backside. We can do that as well. No errors. And there's previous page and next page, but that's probably just going to show the same thing over and over because we only got 4 modules. So go ahead and hit continue. So there is our summary. It took 14 hours and 6 minutes to complete. It shows the CPU temperature. Had a minimum of 34, average 46, high of 50. Now, these temperatures aren't always accurate from MemTest, just FYI. We can see the speed that the RAM's running at. It's running at 2400, 1770, 39 for the cast latency. 56 tests out of 56 completed. No errors. So that looks good. There's all the tests. There was no errors on any of them. Well, I'll hit Y to save the results. So there we go. So we had a successful MEM test. That's all good to go. We're running at the right speed of the RAM too, which is great. So everything is good here. So now I want to shut the machine down. I'm going to try the exit. Hopefully this will halt the system, not reboot it. So I'm going to press X, and then I'm going to key over to shut down, and we'll see if that turns the system off. And if you look at the fans in the back fan is no longer spinning. So it did halt the system successfully. So now I'm going to pop this Ventoy drive out. So there's the Ventoy drive. I disconnected it. What I want to do next is I forgot to do something yesterday. I forgot to go back into the BIOS and verify something. So we want to go into the BIOS. We want to verify a couple things. I want to verify that the NIC, the Chelsea NIC that's in there, is running at ×8. I also want to verify that it sees our M.2 from the adapter. I want to verify that's running at ×4. And I also want to check out the fans. I see all the fans are spinning. That's good. But I want to verify if that front top fan is still set to just a hard-coded percentage, or if it's on smart mode. So a couple things I want to do, and then we'll connect the Ventoy back up again and boot into the TrueNAS Core installer and install TrueNAS. Now, please note I still haven't hooked up any of the hard drives. The only thing that's hooked up drive-wise is the 2 internal M.2 drives. Okay, those 2 SSDs, which are going to be utilized as the boot drives in a ZFS mirror. So we're going to turn the system back on, and as soon as I see the MSI logo, I'm going to tap the delete key, and hopefully it throws us into the BIOS. Hopefully it behaves a little better now that I set to use the integrated graphics instead of trying to look for a PCI Express one. So we're thrown into BIOS. Looks like so far it's kept most of our settings, which is good. The first thing that I want to do, however, is I want to verify that the NIC is running at a ×8. We'll see if my mouse works. Forgot to turn the mouse back on. Mouse is back on. Is the mouse working? Yes, it is. It's responding. We go to Board Explorer, and we will note that it does show both the PCI Express slots populated. So we got the one right here. Unknown vendor, Ethernet controller, running at ×8. Perfect. That's what we want to see. And then we got right here, we got unknown vendor solid state storage controller running at, and it won't say. It does not say what it's running at. If I click on it, nope. It won't say. It says it's a PCIe ×4 slot, but it will not say what it is running at. But it sees it though. Okay. We got all our RAM. It sees all 4 of the RAM. But I was mostly concerned about that NIC, so we know that is good to go. I'll go ahead and exit out of the Board Explorer. The next thing I want to take a look at is the fans. So that's also in this hardware monitor. We can see how our fans are running, and all of them seem to be kosher except System 3. That one seems to be running a little bit high. Now, note all 3 of these fans are all the exact same model. They're all the same size and model, and they're all should be running in PWM. Okay? The only difference is you got 2 in the front, 1 in the back. Okay? So we got CPU 1 is running at around 200-ish, the 220 range on RPM. So it's running pretty slow. But the system is sitting idle right now. I'm just looking at the board. So we got that. And you see it's in smart fan mode. These are the thresholds. CPU 2 is also in smart fan mode. And are these the exact same? They're the exact same. And we got System 3. Okay, so System 3 is not running in smart fan mode. See how this one's set at hard 60? That explains why it's running a little bit faster. So I need to verify which one is System 3. CPU fan 1. So Sys fan 3 is the bottom one. And the bottom one does appear to be running faster if I look physically at it. I have a point of flashlight at it. The bottom one is running faster than the top one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the smart fan mode for that. And as soon as I do that, watch the RPMs should be revving down now, and they are. So if I physically pay attention to this bottom fan, I should see it slowly coming down. Okay? And it should be. It's taken a while. That's still staying around 800. The bottom one is definitely running slower. So we're getting opposite characteristics than we had before, where the top one always ran faster. So it's a little weird. So I'm going to check these thresholds here. We got 40 at 50. What do these have? 40 at 13, so they're different. They have different thresholds. You guys see that? So they have them set differently. That's why we're getting the different behavior. You see that? So probably what I want is I might want to bring up the top one and the rear one to act the same, and the bottom one to be more slower. So this is at 40 at 13. I don't like that. So I'm probably going to do this. This CPU normally runs around 30, 35C anyway, mostly idle, which is perfectly fine. So I'm going to set a threshold if it's I'm going to say 35 and below will be... Let's do CPU 1. That's the rear one. I'm going to say... I'm going to say 38. Okay, I'm going to say 3830. And I'm going to say if it's 45C, that means it's a little bit more toasty. Bump that fan up to 45C. Bump that fan up to 50. Okay. That's what I'm going to say. And then 70, that's pretty fucking toasty. I don't think it's ever going to get to 70. I'm going to say 60. If it's 60C, bump it all the way up to 75. That's what I'm going to say. And then if it's 75, if it's I'll just say if it's 70, bump it to 100. There we go. I think this makes a little bit more sense. Okay. And I want the CPU one to be the same. So 3830. Let's go ahead and do that. $38.30. And then what was next? We got $38.30, $45.50. $45.50, and then we got $60.75. Maybe. Kind of hard to do this. 60.75, and then we have 70.100. Okay. So it'll take a second for those two fans to stabilize, but that's what I want to be running around. If that makes sense. Those should be the exact same. 38. Oh, I got it wrong. So 38.50 or 38.30, 45.50. This is 50.45. So my graph is wrong. It's 45.50. Let me change that. 45C 50%. Hold on, do I get this backwards? Why ain't this registering right? Oh, it's backwards. Derp. There we go. And now, does it look right? Now these should be running around the same, which they pretty much are. Okay. That takes care of that. Now I got to figure out that bottom fan. How I want to run that bottom one. The bottom one, this one can just hang out. You know what I'm saying? It can just hang out. I want to say if the CPU temp is 30, which is pretty fucking good. Just keep this fan around 30%. And the CPU if the temperature revs up to 40, I'd say 40. It's up to 40, bring it up to 50. And then if it gets up to 50, if it gets up to 55, bring this up to 75. And then Yeah. I think that looks a little bit more reasonable for that bottom fan. I think this is a little bit better. And that fan should be coming down. And if you guys look, it is coming down. It's just taking its sweet ass time. It should be running around 30 now. 30%. Yep. Those fans are working, and they're not that loud at all. I mean, compared to having a full-blown server rack over there that's doing its thing, it's not loud at all. I think these settings make sense for the fan. Okay. I think we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the Ventoy drive back up. And then I'm also going to go ahead and we're going to go to settings and save and reboot. Save changes and reboot. And as you guys see, there are the changes that were made. Fan curves. Well, yes, it should reboot now, and we should be able to go into, should boot us right into Ventoy. So let's see if it does that. So we got our splash screen, and as you guys can see, we are booted straight into Ventoy. And if you look on the bottom left-hand corner, it does show that we are booted via UEFI. So now I'll just key down. We're going to install TrueNAS. Okay, it's no longer called FreeNAS. And actually, if you just want the legacy, just NAS only, that's running off of FreeBSD and not Debian Linux, it's called TrueNAS Core. They're phasing it out, but it still gets security updates, maintenance updates. It's really not any new features or anything like that. They're really trying to phase it out. But it's, if you're just running a NAS, you just care about storage, you want the best performance, SMB shares, CIF shares, etc., some iSCSI, TrueNAS Core. I'm still going to stay with TrueNAS Core. Now, in 3-4 years' time, when I go to replace this system with a Dell PowerEdge R740xd, you know, fully blown out with SAS SSDs, then I probably will be looking at the new TrueNAS CE Community Edition, aka TrueNAS Scale. So maybe by then they'll have it fully matured. It kind of sucks because they're going Linux. It's based off Debian, so the Chelsea won't apply anymore. I'll be looking more like a Mellanox ConnectX 3 Pro or something like that. Anyway, so we're gonna go to TrueNAS, and as you see, we got two different versions here. We want to go with the 13.0 U6.7. Okay, that's the one we want to go with. Actually, that's actually should be 6.8. I thought I updated the Ventoy drive, guys. So I'm going to have to go throw 6.8. Wait. I can't throw 6.8 on it because the ISOs I have are on the NAS. I thought I updated that. The latest should be 6.8, guys. I don't know why it has. Okay, we'll continue anyway. Hopefully I can import the stuff I need. So we got our options here. We got boot TrueNAS installer. We got the serial console. You got boot options. We'll just let it run through its process here. Now, no, I don't have any of the drives hooked up. Just the boot drives only. Just the two M.2 SSDs. Okay? So now it gives us our options. We have install/upgrade. We got shell. We got reboot system. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera view. And now we're going to look at this. So this is 13.0 6.7. It should be 6.8. Oops. Hopefully that doesn't give us too much trouble importing our config. It really shouldn't because there wasn't too many major changes from 6.7 to 6.8. So We got install upgrade, we got shell, we got reboot, and we got shutdown. We want to do install. And here we go. Here's the important thing. So it says select one or more drives where TrueNAS should be installed. Use arrow keys to navigate the drives. For installation, select a drive with a space bar. So to select them, you key down to it and you do a space bar to select it. And then tab should get you over to the OK. So we see DA0. Anything that has DA in it is usually a USB-based drive. So that's our Ventoid drive. We don't want to install that. Plus it says Sabrent. That's the Ventoid drive enclosure that we're using. As you can see right here, we got two other options, and these don't show up as crucial. They show up as CT500. That's probably the model number. And they both show roughly the 500 gig, okay? So these drives show up as NV. So that would be NVMe-based drives. Those are the two SSDs we want. So I'm going to go ahead and click on those. Or I'm using the arrow keys to navigate up and down. Space bar. See how it becomes selected now. And then space bar. And this should, in theory, do a ZFS mirror. And then I do tab. It should let me go back and forth between the OK and cancel, which it does. So I do OK. And there we go. And it says, this will erase all partitions and data on NVD0 and NVD1. Okay. Note, installing on SATA. Hold on. Installing on SATA, SAS, or NVMe flash media is recommended. USB flash sticks, flash drives, are discouraged. Back when I first built this machine in 2018, I installed on two USB 2.0 flash drives. So just some little, just little SanDisk glides. I just had two little SanDisk glides I picked up at Target. They no longer recommend that, and they actually have like a logging and stuff that happens onto the boot pole that can really just wear out the write cycles of that flash drive. So we're installing two more reliable NAND flash. We're using NVMe drives. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with installation. Hit yes. Enter your root password. Cancel for no root password. So I'm just going to put in a generic password here. Now, when I import my config, this should change this back. So we'll see what happens. And what I do is to tab down to OK, you just hit the tab button. So it says TrueNAS can be booted in either BIOS or UEFI mode. We're going to do UEFI. Always recommend doing UEFI, okay? It's kind of interesting they recommend it for enterprise hardware. That's kind of interesting. Everything's going UEFI based. We already booted this via UEFI as well. It's nice that they show us the option, though. This will create the boot partitions into using GPT instead of MBR. So we'll do boot via UEFI. That's what we want. Create 16 gig swap partition on boot devices. We'll just go ahead and hit create swap. We shouldn't really need it, but we'll do what it wants by default. And we'll let it do its thing. Hopefully. It says NVD1P3. So the P after means partition table. So that's the third partition onto that drive. NVD1P2. So that's the same drive, but it's add another partition. So that's what the P means after the device name. Now, as you guys can see, it says installing base OS 1 of 3. So those little numbers, we're at 30, 40. That's a percentage. So we're at 40% done on installing the base OS. And I'm checking the front, see if the hard drive activity light's lighting up. It is occasionally blinking, so that is working as well. There are 4 lights that are on the M.2 adapter that flash occasionally. That shows probably drive activity. Okay, so it says the TrueNAS installation on NVD0 and NVD1 succeeded. Please reboot and remove the installation media. Okay, so that seems to be all there was to it to install. Now, also, there is something that just happened on the system. the bottom fan just completely turned off. So might want to go back in there and change that potentially, because that fan is responsible for the bottom 2 hard drives. And right now, those aren't going to get sufficient air intake. So I might want to lower the threshold on that fan, because that fan just completely turned off. That's a no-go. So we'll have to go back in the BIOS and check that out here in a second, because I don't like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. And then it just throws us back into this menu. So I'll go down to Shut Down System. It says Waiting and Powering Down. And I'm going to see if this physically turns off the system. Okay. Now I'm noting the bottom fan, which you guys can't see on the angle, was completely not spinning. So now you guys can see that back fan. See that back fan spinning down? So the machine just halted. Okay. So now TrueNAS Core should be installed on both those M.2 drives. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the Ventoy drive. Now I want to boot back into TrueNAS, or not TrueNAS, back into the BIOS, and I want to tweak that bottom fan again, because I don't like that. So I'm going to hit on, and I got to be fast with it, or otherwise it's going to want to boot into our new TrueNAS installation. I don't want to do that. Throw us in the BIOS. Come on. There we go. I was fast enough. We're back into the BIOS. I'm going to go back over to Hardware Monitor. And then the bottom fan completely turned off. So I'm going to lower this to 2530. Okay. I'm going to try that. That should keep that fan always running. That fan should always stay running. It should not turn off like that. That is very concerning. I want to keep airflow going over those bottom 2 hard drives. X. We'll go Settings, Save and Exit, Save Changes, and Reboot. And now, guys, see how I made that little adjustment on that SysFan 3? Hopefully that fixes that fan issue. Now, before I hit reboot, this is going to boot into our TrueNAS. What I want to do is I want this to have networking. Okay, I want to get this thing a network link, so when it boots up, we're not waiting for DHCP, the DH client, to try to pull an IP address and fail and stuff like that. I want to just be able to pull an IP address so we can get right to the web interface. So we need to hook this up to networking. Now this is FSP Plus, so I need to get out a fiber cable and a couple modules, and we need to get this thing connected. Okay, so I can do that. So give me 1 second to find that. What I normally do on these temporary connections is I just have this bag of Cisco 10 gigs senior modules. I just use these. So I got us a fiber cable here. This is OM3 duplex LC UPC. Pretty typical for 10 gig installs. Yep, see a laser. Okay, so I saw laser light, so that module is spitting out light. Now we'll go back and we'll reboot, and hopefully this will be able to pull an IP address. That's what we're after, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. And this should boot us into TrueNAS off those NVMe's. Now also note, the Ventoy drive, the Ventoy guy drives, guys, I don't have hooked up. See it right here? It's not hooked up. So now we are actually booting off the M.2. And as you guys can see, it is booting. Look at that. It is booting. Now hopefully we get link. See these USB receivers, middleware, it's loading all that stuff, thermal sensors. Will it get link? Oh, it's generating DH params for the TLS key for HTTPS. System's booting up. Encryption was turned on. Link. So right there, CXGB0. That's the Chelsea driver. That's the Chelsea NIC right there. The 10 gig Chelsea NIC. Do we have link? We have link. And if you guys see right there, it says link up. It should have us an IP address. Let's see if I can see an IP address. It's going so damn fast. It should have pulled an IP. I didn't see it. Smart Daemon's on. Jan 11th, FreeBSD. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, there it is. Derp, it's at the bottom. So it was able to pull the IP address, and it pulled the same IP as before because it has the same MAC address, okay? And it's just a single port card. So there you guys go. Beautiful. 10006. And I could just use the same DNS name because it just points to the same IP address. So now we're going to go on the computer and we're going to log into TrueNAS. Here's where the magic begins. We can actually got TrueNAS running and everything, okay? Before I import the config, I might want to connect all the drives back up as well. So we'll take care of that as well. So I'm on the computer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close this old tab out, click on FreeNAS, and as you guys can see, it's complaining about the SSL cert, okay? Because obviously it's a brand new install. It doesn't have the proper TLS cert installed. So it's going to say not secure, right? That's fine. But this domain here still points to the same IP address, so that's why we were able to connect to it. So we'll just say proceed anyway. And as you guys can see, TrueNAS is running again. Beautiful. And it should take that default password that I keyed in at installation time. So I'll go ahead and do that. And the default username will be root. Well, it let us in, and it lets us in, guys. Just like that, we are back to the races. As you guys can see, we have link. So we have CXGB0, okay? That is our Chelsea NIC. And also, guys, you can see right here, it sees our 64 gig of RAM. Beautiful. That's what we want to see. We got an i3 7100. Shows it running right now around 30C. That's within spec. That's what it normally runs as. Now, another thing I want to do, before I import the config as well, I want to update this to the latest version of TrueNAS because the latest version should be 6.8, and this is 6.7. So I better go ahead and do that. I'll click on Updates Available. I'll let it do its thing. Takes a second. Now, as you guys can see right here, we are on TrueNAS Core. If you look right here, see that little core under there? So you have a little drop down where you can convert and update this to the new TrueNAS Community Edition, which is TrueNAS Scale, which are phasing out that name. But you have all these different versions. That's the Linux space. We don't want to deal with that, okay? But we want to go ahead and update this to the latest version, which is U6.8. So U means update. So we got an update 6.8 version. So we'll hit download updates. We'll click on that. We'll let it do its thing. Gonna take a second. The system just got turned online, right? It's gonna say, do you want to save your configuration? This is a new install. We don't care about doing that. We want to apply updates and reboot system after downloading. We'll go ahead and click download. Now, unfortunately, since I didn't update the ISO on my Ventoy drive, we have to do this update, okay? But it's always good when you do the fresh install to come in here and make sure there's not any updates anyway. Make sure it's all up to date anyway. I did get the new ISO, but it was I didn't copy it over from the NAS. It's on the NAS. And we can't do that because the NAS isn't set up. So now this is going to go ahead and download the updates. And this might take a while, depending on how many people is on the internet and stuff. But once this finishes, we'll continue, guys. Another thing I noticed, guys, is as the lights on that M.2 adapter flash, they flash identically to the hard drive tail light in the front on the case. So that tells me that is for drive activity. And both of them will flash simultaneously at the same time because it's running in a ZFS mirror. Both the data goes to both drives simultaneously, like a copy. It's pretty nifty. I also noticed a cool little side effect. The copper heat pipes on the heatsink are kind of like glowing like an orange from the drive activity light. Or not the drive activity light, the NIC activity light on the Chelsea card. Okay, so now we're at installing base. The drive activity light is flashing a lot more now. It was actually copying those files to disk and probably unpackaging them. Okay, so now the system's going to restart. We got no video. Oh, there we go. As you guys can see, the system did just restart. As you guys can see, TrueNAS is booting back up. Yep, there she goes, booting back up. Syncing disk. We lost video. Come on. Oh. Wonder what that was about. Link state changed up. Syncing disk, syncing all disk complete. Wait for it. Wait for the Chelsea to grab link. Come on. No, you want to. Do we got link? Do we got link? We don't got link. Let me check the back of the Chelsea. The Chelsea does show link. So we'll see if we can access the web interface. Can we ping it, guys? We can't. Oh. Anything change? Can I ping it yet? Cannot ping it. Normally it would pop up there right in the console if a link status changed. It's these crappy modules. Let me get another one. That module's quite hot. I saw light though on it from the switch, so I'm gonna see if I see light on the other side. There we go. I plugged that. I swapped out the module. These Cisco modules are kind of hit or miss with this. These NICs and switches. The switch usually takes it just all right, but you know, I do have properly coded modules, but on the bench, I don't want to use them on the bench. So we should now have length. You guys can probably see barely make out that the activity light on the Chelsea is blinking. You probably can see it if you look close enough. See it now? So we definitely have link. I'm going to go ahead and ping 10.0.0.6 now. It's still saying destination host unreachable. Let's see if the web GUI came back. The web GUI has not came back yet. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and key 1, see what's going on here. We want CXGB0, 1. We'll go ahead and hit yes. See what happens. Restarting interface, restarting routing. Now we got an IP. So maybe it got hung up. I don't know why. Let's see. I should be able to ping it now. And I'm able to ping it. Able to ping it on my computer, guys. We got the web GUI back. So we had a little hiccup there with the networking, but I'm also using temporary Cisco modules on a Mellanox, on a Chelsea card connected to a MikroTik switch with. I'm just reusing old fiber that's probably dirty as well. I do have a cleaner, but I just hooked this up just so we can get links, just so we can configure it. When it goes into the rack, it's got brand new fiber that's clean virgin fiber with correctly coded FS modules, Chelsea coded on the NIC side, MikroTik coded on the switch side, and it should work flawless. So we're going to go ahead and log in now. It should be that password we set at installation time as well. And here in a second, we see we now have a logo over here. We didn't have that last time. Around 6.8. And now sees our link again. 10G base SR short range. Sees our 64 gig of RAM. Go ahead and click check for updates. Let this run. Let it do its thing. And as you guys can see, there's no updates available. Now you don't want to check on any of this scale stuff. This will throw your system onto Linux, and it could be a whole shit show there. I don't recommend doing it that way anyway. Our CPU is running right now around 27 Celsius. That's excellent. That's fine. Of course, I don't even have the side panel on either, though. So everything here is looking kosher. The system is up to date. Okay. Next thing that we got to do, this is the fun part, is we're going to have to import our config. Before I do that, I want to reconnect all those drives. All them drives have to be connected back up. So we're going to go ahead and shut the system down, and then I'll take off the back panel, and we'll reconnect them drives. So shut down, we'll click up here. We'll go to shut down, confirm, and this should shut the system down, which, as you guys can see, system should be shutting down. I'll back out. Maybe you guys can see the back fan. See the back fan? System has shut down. So I just connected all the hard drives, all 6 of them, the SATA data and SATA power cables. I'm going to try to zip tie a few things in the back. A couple things are loose. And then I'm going to give this another just quick little dust out. It's already been dusted out a couple weeks ago, but, you know, since we have it open, I'm just going to blast the front and back real quick with the duster as well. Put the side panel back on. Put both side panels back on. And then we will boot back into TrueNAS, and we will import the config, and hopefully sparks don't go flying. And hopefully this thing will keep maintaining a link. I know we're not on the proper setup for it. We're using these crappy Cisco modules, but hopefully it will behave. So I removed any cable ties, just ensured there was no more of these twist ties that unfortunately have metal inside of them. You don't want to have that in your computer. There are two main fractal design Velcro straps that hold the bulk of the cable harness on the back. I don't really like those because, static ESD, but they're fine where they're at. I resecured one of them. Those should be all right. But I just tidied up a little bit on the back. It still looks like a mess because some of these cables are a mile long. Like all those SATA data cables, those should have been, shorter. But I'm going to go ahead and hit it again with a duster. Put the side panels back on. We'll boot into this thing again. Dust it out. I think this thing's ready for another 3 to 4 year long haul. Went over top the drives as well, just in case there's any dust settling on top of those. But yeah. I'm gonna wipe off the top of the power supply too. Don't matter how much you dust it. It seems like dust just always wants to just settle on top of power supply. I hate this side panel on these Fractal designs. They have that clip, that latch mechanism, but it's kind of crappy. But I got it lined up. It's snapped in there, both the top and bottom. So system should be all set to go. Drives are hooked back up, which is good. I'm gonna unplug the Logitech mouse receiver on the top before I forget about that. We don't need that anymore. I'll keep the keyboard connected just for now. It doesn't really need to be stay connected, but just in case the networking acts up on it again. But yeah, I think this thing's ready to be booted again, and we import the config. Now, oddly enough, I don't see case screws on this side, but there's holes for them. So do I set those down somewhere? Or did this not have case screws on the other side? It may have not. Oh, another thing I also got to do is I got to clean this front filter again. This needs to be cleaned out again. So I got to do that as well. And let that damn thing dry. I'd like to wipe this down again as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and boot this system up again. See what happens. Okay, so front fans are still spinning. That's good. Back fan still spinning. That's good. Hopefully we'll get link this time. I'm hoping we'll get link. Gonna turn on now. Or is it broken? Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to hook the the HDMI cable back up to it. Derp. That's why we're not getting video output, guys. I'm sorry. Now we probably won't get any video output. That's a big mistake. Yeah, I forgot to hook up the cable. I'm a moron. See if I can reinitialize the capture card to get it. For some reason, it's being buggy about the DHCP client on it. It's just really annoying. So I can't see anything on the screen, but I know it was 1 and 1 and then Y, I believe. So I'm going to try that again. Well, backspace. 1, 1, Y, enter. See if that changes anything. I did 1, 1, Y, enter. And I got networking. That's the trick, guys. 1, 1, Y, enter. Well, if your interface, NIC interface is the first one to pop up, or if it's only one. 1, 1, Y, enter. Let's see if we could talk to it. We can. Beautiful. Beautiful, guys. We can talk to it again. Beautiful. 1, 1, Y, enter. That's what we need. That's so dumb. I don't know why it's hanging up on that. Might be the Cisco module. I don't know. It's getting hung up on it, though. Log back in. As you guys can see, we are back in. I'm able to communicate with it. It's got uplink. I don't know why it's screwing up with the interface here. Set for DHCP. I don't know why it fucking does that. That's so dumb. It's the second time it's done it. Hopefully it's just the fucking module. I don't know. I don't get that. I don't get why it's acting like that. I don't like that. That's not good at all. So I'm curious if it sees our disk. It does. So you guys notice right here, it's not in a pull, but it does see our disk. They're all reporting. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And it also sees our 2 NVMe's, and it's called boot pull. Cool. See, we ain't got no pulls because it's not configured. Awesome. Beautiful. So now here's the scary part. Importing our config, and hopefully it works. Hopefully sparks don't go flying. This is the part that's going to be a little tricky. So hopefully I can get to behave. Go into System, General, Upload Config. So right here. So the system will reboot and perform the operation. All passwords are reset when the upload configuration database file was saved without the password secret seed. So we're going to hit Choose File. Go down to TrueNAS. And here is our backup config. So you see it's for 13.0, 6.8. Open, upload. And now it says system is restarting. Okay, guys, so I don't know if we're going to get any activity here on the system, but it should say system is restarting. There we go. And we got image again. There it goes. It's doing its thing. See what happens, guys. So it says applying database schema changes, database upgrade complete, rebooting. Did you guys see that? It says saving current data FreeNAS v1 DB to data FreeNAS v1. So it copied over the FreeNAS database. The question is, we did have some slight hardware changes. We went from a different boot configuration. We went from 2 USB flash drives to 2 NVMe. So hopefully they don't get too mad at us. We'll see what happens. Beginning pools import. It threw a lot of different things at us, guys. It looks kind of scary looking, don't it? Some Python, starting interfaces. Hopefully we can, hopefully it imports. My main concern is mostly the SMB share stuff, because there's a lot of different ACLs and stuff set up around that. Do we have link? Oh, it got us link. Look at that. This time it got link. Refresh this again, see if it picks it up. It picks it up, so we're booted into TrueNAS. It didn't blow up, so let's see what happens. And it doesn't take, look at that, guys. It does not take that password we set at install time. So the password did change. Let's see if this works. So right here. Oh, what the fuck? I click on that. Will it take our password? Oh, this is the scary part, guys. And it does. Woo! Back online, guys. We're back online. Okay? There's a few problems, though. We see our UPS is complaining. That's fine, because we're not actually hooked up to the UPS right now. Okay? So, Nut is complaining. We got some connection refused. Right there, it was able to pull our IP on the CXGB0. That's our Chelsea. I'm going to close this. I'm going to stop the UPS from bitching at us right now. I'm not concerned about that right now. Just turn that off right now. Back to dashboard. It sees our cabinet, so that was my main pull. It sees that. See what happens over here. So it said, it even picked up our old, look at that, guys. It picked up our old, the old warnings. So right here it said it had an unscheduled reboot on December 31st. So it picked that up. New feature flags, that's today. Scrub of pool finished on the 1st. So today is the 11th. So it picked that up, guys. That worked. Curious if we go into users. Yep, it picked up all our user accounts. Cert deploy, which I need to get it to spin a new certificate. It didn't copy over the existing TLS cert. Groups, our users are in there. General. See what's going on. Oh, it does show it for cert deploy, but it's not working, obviously, here. It didn't actually deploy that. Time zone, America, New York, 24 hour. I don't want that. I want this. NTP 10005, that's correct. Boot. It's got our initial install. Default, and it has our update, which is now. That was dumb on me, not updating the ISO. Advanced. Enable auto tune. It should be outputting the syslog now. Even pulled down our SMTP stuff. I'll have to test that later. I can actually have it send a test mail right now. System data set. So boot pull and syslog. I use syslog anyway. That should be on there. Reporting. Alert services, email. There's our alert settings. I'll have to go in and tweak some of this stuff. Cloud credentials, SSH connections, SSH key pairs, tunables. I need to go in here, and I already saved some. The last one. We got our update, which shouldn't see any updates. That should be all good. Our CAs. Oh, it even imported this. Look at that, guys. And bring back the CA certificates. This I don't know why this ain't running, because obviously it's not using it. Oh, it is. It is. Look at that. It is using the... Why ain't it valid, though? It hasn't expired yet. That's interesting, guys. Maybe you have to reconnect to it. Acme DNS. Support. It's not able to pull the serial number off this motherboard, whatever reason. Two-factor. I never set any of that stuff up yet. Task, cron jobs, rsync, smart. There's my smart schedules. Pull that in. Paroc snapshots. I should definitely enable that. Scrub task on cabinet. Oh, it does not have the boot pull in here. I need to go in there and add that as well. I need to add a scrub task for that to run on the boot pull. Probably because the boot pull name has changed. That's why. Network summary. CXGB0 10006/23 10001 100. That's correct. FreeNAS NAS land use on that. Yep, this is correct. Got our interfaces, that's correct. Static routes. Storage, we got our pools. Cabinet, that's correct. Snapshots. Disk. It's got our disk. It's got our boot pool, that's the name of it now. I think before it was FreeNAS-boot or something like that. See, Nut is mad right now at us because it cannot talk to the UPS. They're getting disk data. Okay, that's interesting. Probably because we don't have a pool mounted yet. Directory services, Active Directory, LDAP, NIS. Nothing in there. Sharing, Apple. You got iSCSI, Unix. SMB. This was the important one for me. Now, as you guys can see, it does show it pulled that stuff in, so that's good. Yeah. Looks like we're back in business. The only thing that needs to be done is I need to unlock this pool. Let's see if it unlocks the pool. This is the critical part, guys. It usually takes a minute. Boom. Back online, guys. Look at that. Online. And it's got all the different data sets and everything else. Now I can go up here. I can scrub it. I don't want to do that right now. Got pool options. Status. Status is fine. It sees all the disk. Everything's online. Everything's working. See, this doesn't air now. That's all that was about. Now, if I go down to services, if I go to sharing, SMB, so you got your different ACLs and stuff. I'm not too concerned about all that. It works right here. Full stats online, disk with error 0, use space 62, so hopefully I don't use too much space before I get the Dell PowerEdge. But it's online. It is working again, guys. It is running. So I'm going to sign out. I'm going to reload to this page and see if that error goes away. It is not. Let's try it in Firefox. Firefox takes it. So my guess is right now it is caching. Chrome is like caching it. That's probably the issue. So yeah, I think this system is pretty much done. It is back online. It is working. I'm going to go verify the SMB share. See if I can get right back online on the SMB share. Then this thing is going to go back where it belongs. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the system down. I'm going to put it back where it goes, put it back online, and hopefully we'll be done with this system. There's still some more configuration stuff I got to do with it, though, down the road, but we're not going to do that on this video.